Something feels off. You've sensed it, even if you can't quite put your finger on it. There's a pattern. Certain women, certain behaviors, a refusal to grow up. They cling to childish fantasies, expecting the world to solve their problems, and when it doesn't, they lash out or crumble. If you've ever been caught in their web, manipulated, drained, blamed, you already know the truth. Immaturity isn't just a phase, it's a prison of the mind. But before you assume this is an attack, listen carefully. This isn't about them, it's about understanding. Because immaturity isn't random, it's a shield, a defense mechanism rooted in fear. A fear buried so deep in the subconscious that even the one living with it can't always see it. Carl Jung and other analysts spent years dissecting this through feminine archetypes. The girl, the princess, the wife, the sorceress. Each one is a reflection of a psyche stuck in its own trap. But why do some never break free? Think about this. Society romanticizes women as delicate, emotionally enlightened, even morally superior. But the truth? The female psyche, like the male psyche, is filled with shadows. The only difference is that those shadows often wear the mask of sweetness, innocence, or fragility. How many times have you seen a grown woman throw a tantrum like a child? How often do you notice that when things go wrong, the blame is always on someone else? Her father, her boyfriend, society, fate, anyone but herself. That's the first sign of arrested development, the inability to take responsibility. And this is where Jung's archetypes come into play. According to Jung, a woman's psyche evolves through stages, moving from innocence to wisdom. But when the process stalls, when a woman refuses to progress, immaturity takes hold. That's when we encounter women who look like adults, but remain eternal children. First, there's the girl archetype, the most obvious. She refuses to grow up, still expecting someone to protect, pamper, and provide for her. Her fragility isn't real. It's a weapon. She cries instead of reasoning, manipulates instead of negotiating, and she never truly grasps that the world owes her nothing. The worst part, society reinforces this behavior. Women are told it's fine to be delicate, that someone will always come to the rescue, but when reality hits, they are completely unprepared to handle it. Then comes the princess archetype. Here, immaturity transforms into entitlement. This is the woman who believes she deserves everything without effort. Love, success, happiness, delivered on a silver platter. When life doesn't meet her expectations, she doesn't adapt. She rages. She sees herself as the center of the universe, and if reality dares to disagree, she takes it as a personal betrayal. But the most dangerous of them all is the sorceress. At this stage, immaturity becomes power. The sorceress is no longer just fragile or entitled, she is cunning. She wields seduction, manipulation, and chaos to control others, while avoiding her own insecurities. She doesn't seek love, she seeks dominance. She doesn't want connection, she wants puppets. This is no longer just a defense mechanism, it's a calculated weapon. But here's the part no one talks about. Female immaturity isn't just an individual issue, it's a symptom of something much bigger. For centuries, society has infantilized women, rewarding helplessness, dramatics, and hysteria. It has whispered that vulnerability is an asset, and that a woman's power lies in her dependence. But this is a trap, because the moment a woman refuses to grow up, she locks herself into a life of dependence, forever waiting for someone else to save her. So what happens to those who break free? The ones who face their fears, take responsibility, and reject the childish games? Society doesn't welcome them, it punishes them. A mature, independent, self-aware woman is unsettling. She's called cold, difficult, unfeminine, because a woman who doesn't need saving is a woman who can't be controlled. And that's the harsh truth. Immaturity is comfortable, it's easy, it's socially accepted, but it's also a cage. And the only way out is to face the fear, drop the illusions, and reject the roles that no longer serve. So here's the real question. Is immaturity truly a choice? And how many are willing to pay the price of growing up? Because in the end, there are only two paths. Stay asleep and keep playing the game, or wake up. And waking up is painful. But the alternative? It's far worse. Now, here's what no one tells you. It's not enough to recognize immaturity. It's not enough to understand its forms. There's something deeper at play, something unspoken. Why do so many women remain trapped in this mental loop? It's not just about education, experience, or culture. There's something more ancient, more primal. Fear, but not the fear of failure, not the fear of loneliness. This is something older, something passed down through generations. The fear of losing protection. The fear of stepping outside the role that guarantees safety. Because here's the unsettling truth. Female immaturity has, for centuries, been a survival strategy. Think about it. For most of history, women had little control over their own destinies. They depended on a father, a husband, a community. Fragility, submission, and indecisiveness weren't just habits, they were tools. Acting helpless wasn't weakness, it was a way to ensure protection. Playing the role of the girl, the princess, or the sorceress wasn't always a conscious decision, it was an adaptation. But here's the problem. The world has changed, society has evolved, but the psychological programming remains, and that is the real trap. The old script is still running, the one that once worked, the one that made sense in a different world. But times have changed and the program is outdated. Yet many remain trapped in emotional childhood, because deep down, growing up comes with a terrifying price. Maturity means giving up protection. It means admitting that no one is coming to save you. It means accepting that power comes with responsibility. And responsibility is heavy. Now, ask yourself this. If female immaturity was once a survival strategy, what happens when it stops working? The answer is exactly what we're witnessing today. An identity crisis. Because when a woman can no longer rely on others, when manipulation fails, when fragility no longer grants her a safety net, panic sets in. She feels betrayed by a world that no longer treats her like a princess. And in that moment, new mechanisms emerge. Victimhood, resentment, and anger, all disguised as empowerment. This isn't tied to one culture, one country, or one generation. It's everywhere. Women who blame the world for their failures because they were never taught to take ownership. Women who reject maturity, labeling it a patriarchal burden because immaturity was their comfort zone. Women who look for authority figures to replace their fathers instead of becoming their own source of strength. And no, this isn't their fault, it's the result of centuries of conditioning. But here's the real question. Who has the courage to break the cycle? Because breaking it isn't just about changing behaviors, it's about killing a part of yourself. It means letting go of the inner girl who made you feel special, the princess who expected to be saved, the sorceress who manipulated without remorse. It means standing exposed before reality, without masks, without games, without the luxury of illusion. And that is terrifying, because nothing stings more than realizing the world is not designed to cater to you. So the choice is yours. You can continue playing the role you were given. Keep pretending life owes you something. Cling to a fragility that no longer serves you. Or you can face yourself, your real self. But if you choose to mature, be ready. Because maturity is not a reward, it's a burden. It means accepting that no one else is to blame, that no one owes you anything, that every decision, every consequence, every hardship is yours to bear. It's a weight that crushes those who aren't ready for it. And the real question is, how many are truly ready? Now let's go even deeper. It's not enough to discuss immaturity as a psychological or social issue. It's not enough to see it as an identity crisis or an evolutionary leftover. There's something darker at play, something most people refuse to acknowledge. Immaturity is not just a mindset, it's a toxin. It seeps into every decision, every relationship, every wasted opportunity. It's the silent force behind cycles that never break, dreams that never materialize, and lives that never reach their potential. And here's the question no one dares to ask. What happens when immaturity becomes destructive? because there's a difference between being immature and being helpless. And there's something far more dangerous using immaturity as a weapon. Let's talk about sabotage. By now, we understand that many women resist growth because it means losing the shield of protection, the privilege of being fragile. But there's another, more insidious group, those who refuse to mature because they've learned that immaturity gives them power. This is where manipulation comes into play, because immaturity doesn't always look like weakness. Sometimes it looks like seduction, like drama, like calculated victimhood. It's the woman who cries when she doesn't get her way, the one who throws tantrums when faced with opposition, the one who twists emotions to avoid confronting her own flaws. And the scariest part? It works. We live in a society wired to protect fragile women, to excuse their actions, to justify their immaturity with a simple, "That's just how women are." And this is where the real danger begins, because when immaturity is never challenged, it's reinforced. Like and subscribe to this channel for more insightful content.